another episode of Love, Sex, and Reality. I am your host, Ashley Jamil, and today I have another wonderful episode and also another beautiful person that has decided to grace me with her presence on the podcast tonight. So I want to introduce one of my other besties. It's me, Anna. Anna de la Cruz, right?
Your favorite Dominican.
That's what she always says. I think you guys have heard her voice before on an actual podcast I had that was like on the radio. So you couldn't see us, but now you can see us and see her. So, hey. So Anna, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much for having me. I'm loving the topic today. We're going to get into it.
Yes, I'm so happy you decided to join me. Thank you so very much, girl. So, yeah, well, as she said, we have an amazing topic for today, guys. So let's go ahead and let's get into it. It's going to be a little deep, maybe a little teary-eyed, so y'all bear with us. Sometimes things happen in life where we go through situations, and unfortunately, you do have to give it to God to try to overcome or seek help any kind of way that you can to seek help, especially with this specific topic. So the topic tonight is narcissist. I already know what you're probably thinking and saying, but everybody always talks about narcissists and, oh, my partner I had was a narcissist. Everybody's had a narcissistic partner. That's what everybody says, right?
That's what they say. But I don't know if they really know what that means.
Right. So we want to kind of break it down for you guys and also share our experience of what we dealt with the narcissist. She has had a situation, I have had one, so I'm going to try to break down the terms of what a narcissist really is. I was going to break down the different ones, the different type of narcissist to you guys, but I said, nah, that's probably another topic for another day. So tonight we're just going to jump into basically what a narcissist is, and then we're going to break down our situations that we have dealt with narcissists or narcissism is different terms. So, okay, so just to kind of piggyback on this, a narcissist is in regards to definition, the Webster definition just talks about how a person who has an unreasonably high sense of their own importance, they seek and need too much attention and want people to admire them. That's the Webster definition. Now, a few, I would say a few traits or symptoms can be exploits others without guilt or shame, frequently demands immediate bullies, frequently demands, intimidates, bullies, or belittle others. Needs constant praise or admiration. They live in a fantasy world that supports their delusions. Okay? And another thing I want to say, in relationships with a narcissist, with a significant other, they act as if they are always right. They know better and their partner is wrong and incompetent. So let's discuss this, Anna. So based on what I just read, based on the Webster terms or definitions, right. Can you kind of piggyback off of that before we go into our different stories of us dealing with a narcissist?
Well, yeah. The bottom line is there are different forms. There's different tactics that said narcissist is going to use against you, but at the core of it all, it's a very distorted sense of self, because in their heads they want to believe that there's something that they're not.
Right.
And they're trying to make you believe that same illusion to the point where it literally drives you to the brink of maybe thinking you're crazy.
Right. Yes, Lord.
Because what you see and what you're being told, what you're seeing is being questioned quite often. But those tactics are the ones that you have to be careful for, because they come in many different faces.
For sure. For sure.
So
they do.
In most cases, a narcissist has several kinds of different faces. So you got to know which one you're dealing with or don't want to deal with them at all, because any relationship with a narcissist never ends well. It always ends with the abuser almost to the point of extreme like trauma goes into that victim, and it's hard to break out of it. Like, really, really hard. Y'all learn about that later.
Right. Right. And, you know, and dealing with our different situations, you know, it's funny now, but at the time it was not funny.
Not at all.
We're just going to be honest about that. So we just want to kind of educate you guys on, you know, if you have really, really, truly dealt with one. Because, again, a lot of people can say they have, but a lot of people just kind of throw that term around like loosely. And it's like, no, we are two women who have actually dealt with it. And I think more so recently, not recently, but honey, a few years back, I've dealt with it, and I thought I would never. I mean, to be honest, I didn't even know what a narcissist was. Like, this woman right here had to help me through one of the toughest times dealing with this particular guy. Like, you know,
what's crazy with your situation is like, you never think it's gonna be you,
right?
You know, when you see other people getting mistreated, and you know, let's be clear. Just because some person may be abused doesn't make the abuser a narcissist, but more than likely they are. But the victim, like, has this sense of like nothing is good enough, and the narcissist is always just trying to. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, they're just out to get that person to do what they want.
Right.
Like, whatever means necessary. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, for you, how did your experience make you change what is a narcissist in your head? Or when I told you what a narcissist was.
Right.
Like, how did it translate? Like, oh, my God, this guy's a narcissist. Like...
Well, let's talk about our situations first.
Okay,
and then we'll do that.
My bad, I forgot y'all don't know the stories.
Y'all don't know the stories, so that's why we know we were here just to kind of share that. So, I think that you should start first. Yours is a little bit more deeper than mine. And you know, just kind of, I would say, sum it up, because it was a long time that you went through this. You know, of course, if you feel comfortable enough, this is a safe space to tell how long it's been and things that happen, you know, you can, but, you know, just kind of sum it up so we can kind of get the gist of what happened in your situation. Sure. Yeah, how you know, met the person, and then how to transition to, you know,
So, just a little back history. I'm the eldest of 3 girls. I was born in the Dominican Republic, grew up in New York. My abuser, let's just name it what it is.
True.
He was you know, high school sweetheart, my first sexual partner. I was 17 when I met him, and through time I ended up moving to Georgia with him. Now, in retrospect, I noticed he was grooming me from that age. So in my experience with, and by the way, I was with him for 10 years. From my
that's what I was looking for.
Young, nice little 17-year-old teenage mind up until my later 20s, when I finally decided to leave. So, just a little synopsis. I went through all kinds of abuse with him. So it was mental, financial, spiritual, sexual, emotional. I'm pretty much, what else is verbal, you know, to the point
where... You said physical too?
Yes, physical.
Physical, okay.
Yeah, to the point where at first it started with him abusing me, and then eventually we were abusing each other. But more so because it was a defense for me. Okay. So, moved down here to Georgia. Which I don't regret the decision. I just wish it was under different circumstances.
Of course, yeah.
And things just went from bad to worse.
Wow.
The move had him isolate me from my friends, isolate me from my family, to the point where they would have to call me and like call around to find where I was, because I didn't want to talk back home. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. And that's something that my narcissist relied on. He preyed on this idea that I didn't want people to know that, you know, he was such a big, important part of my life. Like, I almost idolized him.
Oh, wow.
I lost myself with him.
Oh.
So that's kind of what led me to get to such an extreme.
So let me say this: in the beginning, was it good in the beginning?
Oh, in the beginning, it's great.
Usually, it always is. I'm like,
right, of course, and that's what I come to learn, like through therapy. By the way, therapy is an amazing thing.
Definitely vital. Sure.
Especially if you really want to, grow through trauma like that, because
and heal.
Yes,
for sure.
At the end of the day, I cannot say that I am not forever changed by this experience, but I cannot cope and really take wisdom out of the situation. But he loved bombed me. That's what I guess my therapist calls it. He literally promised me the world, called me all kinds of beautifuls, and spent buku amount of time with me. It was like yin and yang, Bonnie and Clyde. Constantly, him and I were always a mix. So eventually I lost who I was as an individual.
So like wherever you saw you, there
he is, right.
No matter what.
And vice versa.
Together. Wow.
And vice versa. And he made it that way so that I can feel attached.
Yeah.
He made me be very dependent on him.
And that's how narcissists will do you. They will try to isolate you from your friends and your family, because they happen to me as well.
Correct.
So yeah, that's what they do. They want you all to themselves so you can only focus on them.
Exactly.
Why are you worrying about other people anyway? You need to focus on me.
But then,
so entitled.
But then did you experience where even when you give them what they asked for, it's still not the way what they wanted, or the extreme they wanted?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, so they're never satisfied.
Never.
Ever.
Ever satisfied.
Ever. So needless to say,
it's horrible.
He used to tell me things that ended up backfiring. So fast forward, 10 years go by. I am now 26, 27 years old. And
wait a second. Were you still with him at this time?
Oh, at this time I'm with him. So needless to say, from 17 to 27, I was with him on and off.
So I want you to talk about that part. Okay.
So
all right. Sorry guys.
I was leading to that. She just knows a little bit of the history.
Sorry.
But we'll get to that. So it has now been 10 years or so.
Okay.
Remember, on and off. Oh yeah, this was another thing. Even though we were constantly together, he never claimed me as his woman. So it was a way of keeping a tether on me, but not to let me stray too far so he can do whatever he wanted to do. Because there were other women, there was excessive partying.
Was it drugs?
Just drugs. Okay. And actually because of that, and all these weird mind games, it got to a point where I was severely depressed, and I was using drugs as well to cope.
Wow.
I was completely jaded.
Yeah.
I was completely jaded. I was numb. I didn't know what was real. One minute he loved me, next minute he was hurting me. So the constant back and forth, and this happened for years, it started to really mess with my psyche.
Yeah.
But again, I'm remembering those first couple of years where it was puppy love, and he said he loved me, and I mean so much to him. We do everything together.
Right.
Just so I can stay hooked onto him.
So at what point did you, because I want to get to definitely the scar. I want to get to that. And then I also want to talk about at what point did you start praying to God, like, I need to get out of this situation because this is just too much. Like, I know you said at this point you had 10 years.
So needless to say, my faith with God, my connection with God was very, not severed. And what did I say severed? But I lost a lot of strength or really hope in it. I knew I wasn't meant to go through this, but I also was like, why is he letting this happen to me? You know what I mean?
So you blame a guy and you still was like, I know I'm not supposed to be going through this.
Right. Okay. And that was because he would play with my head, because he used spiritual warfare against me too.
Of course.
Like, but this is what happened. His own lies basically went against him. He would say, I'm God's child. You ain't going to talk to me or be any kind of way. When I finally started to have a voice, he was like, I'm my mother's child, and she's a God-fearing woman. And I was like, wait, if you're God's child, am I chopped meat? So eventually those lines, I started thinking like, so what am I? And honestly, it was this one vital moment. So needless to say, the final straw with him and I, it was actually around my birthday, so needless to say, that's a whole trauma issue in its own. But he got upset with me about something. I can't quite recall. And he literally burned my body. Like his goal was to maim me. Like he saw that I was pulling away. He saw that I was standing up for myself because I was just like, I was tired of the abuse.
Of course.
So as much as he hurt me, I was trying to hurt him back. So now I'm just in this method of like rage, to be honest. And he burned me with an iron. And that's also, aside from the physical, it's a mental, psychological thing he did with me because my grandmother passed away with, with some like foul play and an iron. So he burned me with an actual.
And he knew about this.
Wow. So he used that to put more fear into me because he saw I started to get stronger. So, needless to say.
That was God giving you that strength, honey.
Right.
For sure.
Because, to be honest, my family had an idea that I was struggling, but I was very embarrassed. I was full of shame because it's like, my mother would have never accepted that from anybody, you know what I mean? Even though she experienced abuse, which is something I recognize probably led to me even entertaining someone like him for so long. But when he did do those things to me, I knew I had to leave. Yeah. I knew it. Like, I knew this one particular night, I hate to bring it about it. I hate to talk about it because it was such a low moment in my life. Yeah. And that's how I knew God intervened because at that point, I had enough. Yeah. So, literally.
And I had brought some tissues and Lord, I left them in the car.
It's okay.
I'm sorry, Hannah.
I let it just flow out.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I had my little tissue.
This is therapeutic for me and cathartic even.
Yeah.
So.
For sure.
Literally, it was after he burned me. Like, I'm still healing. I'm wearing long sleeves in the middle of summer, and it's 90 degrees outside, covering up my bandages. Didn't go to a hospital because I was scared they were going to, like, call the police because it was like I was trying to protect him, but I hated him. I wanted him to go to jail, but I didn't want to see another black man go to jail. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it was like, I didn't know which heart to think with. Right. So... But that particular day, he was asleep. It was quiet. I don't know what it was. I had a knife in my hand. And I was literally like watching him like, I can really just go there.
I can end it.
I can end it for him and for me because I was just like, it's either going to be him or me. I'm either going to be dead or I'm going to be in jail or I'm going to be severely hurt or I'm going to kill him. It was that. And whatever happened, I let her was like, put that knife down, you just gotta go.
That was the Holy Spirit talking to you, child. For sure. Till you put that knife down and get out. Because see, God made him go to sleep. Because he knew he was going there to get that knife. He knew that. So God put him in a sleep where you can, so he can speak in your ear, put that knife down.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And literally all I kept saying was, myself unsnapped. You know what I mean? Like, it was one of those things where
in those moments,
you would never think I would do something like that, but you don't understand, like, when you're in that survival mindset, you'll do anything to get out of it.
You do anything, yeah, for sure. And I was going to say, when you mentioned about how you said that your mom would never would put up with something like that, I was going to say, and I'm sure she definitely wouldn't. With a narcissist, they're so manipulative. Yes. They know how to take and twist, and they know how to pull you in. They have this type of, I be calling it some type of like spiritual, like love bomb demon, like you said, where they just kind of know how to draw you in. They're very, very, very charming. That's male or female, very charming.
No, and the worst part about it is they make you believe it truly is your fault.
For sure.
And so imagine. Even in the midst of me thinking like I can just hurt him and be done with it, I still felt bad for thinking that way, even though he's hurt me and it's clearly self-defense, you know. But he banked on that. He banked on me having this unconditional love because I couldn't see him do any harm. You know what I'm saying? I actually thought at one point I deserved it, and that's where they get you. Like they make you believe that is what you deserve.
Yeah, and so with that, so at that point you said that, you know, basically we've established that the Holy Spirit basically spoke in your ear, telling you to go.
For sure.
So after that happened, can you talk about just like, I guess, like the ending of all that, and like where he, as far as like, is he still communicating, like trying to call you now? Like, can we get to that part as far as like when you left and, you know, yeah.
So I had to go to therapy for several years. I still am going to therapy, and because of this,
Man, hold on, how long has it been?
Okay, so the relationship ended in 2012.
Okay, there we go. Thank you. So
this is now 2023. So literally 11 years later, and it's still a major factor in how I decipher dating partners, how I interact with men.
Of course.
I actually suffer from PTSD due to that. You know, anxiety and all kinds of things, because for 10 years it was like I was at war.
And I think I remember you saying too, didn't he break your ankle or broke your something? Something like that happened too, I think I remember you saying.
I mean, it was so much abuse. I've had my teeth chipped. I've had my nose broken. I've had a rib broken. Severe burns in multiple parts of my body.
This is all from him, right?
Just because he couldn't handle his own emotions, like at all. And like one day I did ask him, why did he do these things? And he's like, because he didn't want me to be attractive to any other man.
Of course.
But never messed up with the face, just the places you can't see that I wouldn't want to show.
Of course. But
eventually, interesting enough, I was working 2 jobs and I was off from both. And something told me just to go to church. I went to church. I went to Victory Church in Stone Mountain. It was the Wednesday service at 7 o'clock at night. And I swear to you, the pastor was talking to me. Like
I didn't told you, it was the Lord talking to you, girl.
Well, the Lord was talking to me through the pastor.
Because the pastor for sure.
The first thing out of his mouth was, you don't deserve what you're getting. You need to go. You know, you're holding on to something that no longer serves you. You're God's child. That's what I can remember. You have a purpose and you have more to do and more to like show the world.
Okay.
And I just took that like, that's your confirmation to leave.
And I'm sorry, was that before you got the knife and everything?
That was after.
Oh, this was still after. Okay, good. Okay, because I didn't want to take y'all back. So I'm sorry.
Right.
Okay,
no, so that whole knife situation literally happened like days prior to
the
me
church
having
was after.
to go. Right.
Okay, got it. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
So,
okay. All right.
So that day with the knife, something was just like, nope, put the knife back. We were not we weren't living in the same room. When we were sleeping in the same room, we were like roommates at that time. So I was like, just go to your room. Just go to your room.
Okay, good. Okay.
I had to go to work the next day, so I just kind of distracted myself with that.
Okay.
And then it was like 2-3 days later, because I remember it was a weekend when the knife thing happened.
Okay.
So it had to be 3 days later, Wednesday.
You went to church.
I went to church.
Got it. Okay.
And from that day, I was like, every single thing I did, every plan I made was so I can escape, literally escape.
Wow. So what was the escape plan?
So at that time, I actually, strangely enough, I started falling for someone I used to work with.
Okay.
You actually met him. His name was Clancy. I know he was an awesome guy. But he knew my story, and he was a friend first. So he told me whenever I was ready that he would help leave.
Help you leave.
He would just help me, you know, no strings attached. Of course, this was before I knew how much him and I liked each other. But I just told him I had to leave, and I had to make sure that he couldn't find me. Because I've left many times before, several times before, but somehow they always pull you back. And this time I didn't want any.
You were over it.
I didn't need a reason to come back.
Yeah.
But
wow.
I just left, and the boy still calls my phone.
Yeah, and it's been. You heard what she said. It's been 11 years, and he still calls her phone. Yep. So we're just trying to get you guys to see that the narcissists, they don't stop. They always continuously keep coming back to try to get you, because they feel like you are theirs. You're their property. That's how they feel. Like, it's just Wow, Anna. So
Did you feel that way when you experienced your situation? Because I felt that way.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. So like to this day, I'm like, okay, please God, don't let this be him. That's what I get when I see numbers come up. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh my
yeah.
God.
And it's psychologically draining.
Yeah, and so with my story, I know Anna. I wanted Anna to get hers out because I know hers was more. She was with that guy for a very long time, for a decade, and I was on it with my little trash for 9 months. Listen, 9 months was all I could take, and really it was supposed to have been 6. Honey, it was supposed to be no months. Let me start there.
Right.
But, so with my situation, God, I met this guy at this grocery store I used to work at. And I think I was like, I was at the desk, like I was one of the managers, like the leads at the desk or whatever. And I met this guy. He came in. He was a good looking guy. All of the women used to be his face, but I didn't pay him no attention. I was actually checking for somebody else. So, so I wasn't paying him no attention. But he was really a good looking guy, and so to fast forward on that, God, one day he walked me outside. He walked me outside with my groceries, and he was like, I was just trying to see if I can get your number. And at that time, I really was not giving my number out to anybody. But I said,
you sure wasn't.
I was not giving my number out. I said, he kind of cute,
Right.
And I said,
in case you're bored.
Maybe I'm a little bored. And I don't mind talking to somebody. So I'm like, let me just go and give my phone number.
Right.
So, I didn't, honey, it's too much to tell y'all everything that happened in this amount of time we have, but oh Lord, and for 9 months it was just crazy. So just kind of fast forward up on things, of what I went through, but we got his number, and so in the beginning it was just like she said, like it was like rainbows and
sunshines and daisies,
sunshine and daisies, and going to Six Flags, riding on the roller coasters, like it was perfect, like
nicknames,
nicknames,
good night before you go to sleep.
Actually, it was like we was in high school. We would go to sleep on the phone together, like it was like that, like little puppy love type stuff. Like it was really good. So, for the first, like I said, the first month it was good, and then I found out he was talking with somebody else at the job, and then I found out he was talking to another girl. And it's like, okay, actually, well, God had tried to tell me 3 times not to talk to this guy. Like, it was 3 different instances that happened where God was like, don't talk to this guy. Like, he's not for you.
Right.
Because I go home praying. You know how we go home praying. Lord, is this my husband?
Right.
Is this my mate? We go home praying.
Right. Like, okay, is this the one?
Is this
finally?
the one, Lord? So, I did. I know I did. And so, I was okay. But God, there was 3 things that happened. I was like, okay, I just find he messing with this girl. Okay, he messing with this person. Messing with that person. Mm-hmm. But I still went in. Like, I can't say I went in still. I actually ended up liking this other guy who would come to the store all the time. And we started going out, and we both talked about how we didn't really care for our current people we were talking to.
Right.
He didn't get, and me and the guy went on a bunch of dates together, me and this other guy. And I still was talking to this person.
Why do you think that is?
I think he had a little hold on me already, because he was already going through some different things, like financially, and his living arrangements as well. And I had a little soft spot for him. I did.
I got you.
So I ended up messing things up.
That good generous heart of yours.
For sure. Yeah.
Got him to cling on to.
I'm telling you. So I ended up messing up things with a really good guy, all for the sake of the 9-month thing. And
see how they do us?
See, right. So to fast forward on everything, guys. So I would say 2-3 months in, it still was this other girl that was kind of lingering around. Mm-hmm. And he would tell me he was not talking to her anymore. He was done with her. It was all about me and him.
That's a lie.
That's a lie. Right. Like, and so I ended up meeting his mom. Like, nobody else has really met his mom except for when he was in high school. So his mom loved me. And she's like, Ashley, I've never liked anybody he's brought home, but I love you. So I was like, oh man, maybe it is meant to be.
The mom is in it too.
The mom's in it, like, and I met the sisters and the grandma and stuff like that. Like, we would just do a lot together. But it got to the point.
Moved so fast.
We moved
months. You guys,
it was
met families.
Oh my God.
Like playing house the whole day.
Put it this way, we started talking in December, mid-December, like end of December, like Christmas time. Mm-hmm. By February, I was meeting the mom. I met the mom by February.
He loved mom.
For sure. It was Speedy Gonzalez type of movie.
And then you fall for the family.
Oh, yeah.
And you want to, you still you care, but that's just another way he has you attached.
Yeah, yeah. And it got to the point where he started talking like he started looking at some stuff on YouTube, like some stuff that kind of like started twisting his mind. Like I want to say like something like demonic type things he was looking at, and he started talking like, honey,
and you felt it in your spirit.
Oh my God!
Like he was trying to like.
It feels like I felt like an evil like presence and stuff. Like it was just and then he would be over my house all the time, and he started to isolate me from my friends and my family. It was like to the point where I wasn't really talking to you. Like my mom was like, I don't even see you no more. You don't even come over no more.
That's your best friend.
My mom's one of my best
friends.
From
me, of course.
Right.
Aside from her.
You know what I'm saying? So,
right, you know
what I'm saying? So he would have me so consumed with just him. And it got to the point where it's a classic narc, right? And it got to the point where it was like I would say I was 6 months in at this point, and I was finding prostitutes in his phone. Like I found like a list of prostitutes. He had sent a text message to a prostitute at like 4 in the morning, because he had his own place too, but it would be like an extended stay or someplace he was at. I had my own apartment at the time, and I ended up finding that in his phone. Like, and I didn't spring it on him, at the time. I just was like, it was just so many things that happened at 9 months. Like I said, it's just too much to tell now. But
you lived a lot.
I lived a lot. Like in the 10 years that you dealt with, I lived there in like 9 months.
Oh, you sure did.
Because like it was to the point, guys, where like he never put his hands on me, but one day he got so mad. We was riding on the road, and he got so mad because I was saying some stuff that he did not like, because he was being disrespectful to me. It got to the point where he started calling me bees. I've never had guys talk to me. I never allowed men to talk to me like that. So I knew at that point, I'm like, God, I don't even let people talk. I don't let females, I'm a dog, cat, whoever you are. Don't talk to me like that.
And vice versa. Like
vice versa.
It was just so outside of your normal.
Of who I am. It was to the point, guys, where I have not sweared or cursed in like 10 years. And when I met this person, I started cursing.
Yeah.
I knew
even to this day, I was so surprised when I heard it.
I hadn't cursed in 10 years. Yeah. So he had such a hold on me. I'm not an angry person. I was getting, he used to get me so angry. I mean, I've never been like that before. He's a horrible person. It's
absolutely.
So we're trying to warn you guys about dealing with these narcissists. Whenever you see the signs, please go the other way, because you don't want to deal with what we dealt with. Like, I'm telling y'all, like, and I was trying to get to my point. We were riding on the road, like, for coming from the mall. I had took off. And I was like, you want to go to the mall? Da-da-da. And I was like, yeah, let's go. We go to the mall. And this guy was like, hey, you want to, let me give you some stuff you can try on your hand. You know how they have, like, the guys on the side.
Sample guy.
Right.
Okay.
And I said, no, I'm fine, thank you. Man, what she just say? Like, who does?
But you see how intimidating? Like, that just scared me.
You see that? See how you see?
And I'm like, whoa.
Like, out of nowhere, guys, these are the things that he would do. Like, he would just go off on people. Like, I was like, and I'm such a, and I'm not a pushover. No, let me just shut that straight. Okay? But it's like, I'm nice to people when I come in. I speak, hey, how you doing? Like, I'm nice to be like, he was to the point, y'all, I'm telling y'all, I dealt with so much in 9 months. It was to the point where we go to the gas station, like, he was about to get in a fight with the guys at the gas station because he thought they were sitting too close to him, like, or too close to me. Like, I was trying to lose weight, and he was like, eat it, baby. Nah, baby, go on and eat it. Basically, he wanted me to, you know what I'm saying, get to a certain size where nobody would want me type thing, you know.
Oh, I've had that happen to me, too.
Right, remember you said that. Yeah, so when you said that, I could relate. It's like, what? And then, I mean, we were, but yeah, like, it's crazy.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because then they tell you, eat. And then when you eat it, you know you should have eaten something else. You know that's not, you know you getting fat. You better stop eating them cheeseburgers. I'm sorry, what?
I'm telling you, and that's another thing, too. He had stopped eating meats. And one day, I stopped and got me a little, I think a double stack from Wendy's.
Right.
And then he was like, oh, no, baby, come on and eat it, baby. You'll stop eating meat after a while. I believe in you. And then 2 days later, you there eating that mother meat. You such a eating the. I mean, you just told me to eat it 2 days ago, and now I'm trifling because I mean,
you see
the manipulating game they play.
Yeah.
You know,
did it make you feel crazy?
They make you. Oh my God, he made me feel crazy so many times, guys.
I know.
We riding down the road one day, and he just got mad because I was saying whatever to him because he was being disrespectful. He just slung his water in my face. Took the water bottle and slung it in my and all the water. I had just got my hair done too, y'all. And
now you know you can't do that with nobody's hair.
Okay, really.
No.
All the water went on my hair. Like I'm telling you, and so I was starting. I said, God, you gotta get me out of this. I said, I repent. I apologize that I did not listen to them 3 times. You tried to warn me about this ingrate.
And I got those same kind of.
I'm telling you,
like moments, but you know. I guess because we're not experienced, you know what I'm saying? We're still hopeless romantics.
Right.
We've seen, you know, we want the romance. We want the fairy tale.
Sure.
But when it happens literally one day to the next, you gotta think like, wait, why is he moving so fast? Or what are his real intentions?
What are the real intentions?
Because a person that has genuine intentions will make them known, but it wouldn't feel forced.
It would not feel forced like that, and you won't feel intimidation. You won't feel any of that, like uncomfortable. Like sometimes I would be not scared, but I wouldn't want to say certain things. I'm like, okay, he might pop off,
and it stops you from being who you are.
Yeah, and it was to the point, and he was African American. It was to the point where he was trying to tell me to stop liking Caucasian people and Asian people and Hispanic people, and he would even say stuff about you. And I'm like, I'm talking about my best friend. You crazy?
How dare you?
Like one day she was on the phone and he started going off, and I think it's another day he threw water in my face. He's only done it twice. And he was like, you know, got mad, saying he'll F you up. Remember that day he did that? Like,
talking about I'm watered down or
something
along those lines.
Her race.
Right.
You know?
Like, basically,
what
it really was, he knew that I was telling her those red flags because I've seen them with myself.
For sure.
Because I used to see, like, you would rush to make sure you would be there. You know, at certain times. Because if you wasn't there a specific time, you was messing with somebody. Yeah. Oh, and the same thing, they love to project.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're always talking or flirting or you're too friendly with someone.
Oh, yeah.
And even to this day, I do not have many physical interactions with people because he's trained me in a way.
Yeah.
And I'm working through that, but
it's crazy.
Narcissism, there's no cure to it.
No.
There's no, like, even if a person goes through therapy, they will never be empathetic.
No.
They will never understand how much they hurt you.
Well, you know, they will display empathy for a second.
Because.
And then it's back to, you know.
But the empathy is really just a means to get back to what they were getting.
He would let to me all the time. He'll say, I would just leave. He would make me so mad. I would just leave. He'll be mad and he'll call me 2 hours later, baby, I'm sorry, I'm about to come over there. And that's how he would get me. I'm sorry. I want to marry you. Da, 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 da. And I say, and one day, let me tell y'all, this is like, I mean, the breaking point for me, honey, is another story. But one day he said, "You're not happy with me, are you?" I said, "Not at all." I said, "Not at all." No, I said, "I really think you are one of the worst people I've ever met in my entire life." That's what I told him.
Wow.
I said, to be honest, I actually, quite frankly, wish I never met you.
And how did he take that?
He was like, I know.
But he still wanted you to be around.
Yeah.
You see the insanity there.
It's crazy. So I got to the point, guys, where I just kept telling God, please get me out of it, God. Please get me out of it, God. I said, I promise you, I would never go through this again. I would never, ever let a man or anybody treat me like this again. I said, I promise. Just please, it's my last time, God. Get me out. Like, I was so, like, you know, he had me crying and stuff. I never used to. He had me crying. I used to be like in the middle of the street with him. Mm-hmm. We used to be in my car at 3 a.m. in the morning because he wanted to go home because he pissed off. Like, y'all, I'm telling y'all, I had never ever dealt with this in my life. Like, never. And I wish that I could have listened to God the 3 times he told me and not done it. So, needless to say, God made something happen, honey, where I can get out. and I was on the first train smoking. Okay,
right.
January,
never look back.
Right, because remember I said December I started talking to him. February I met the mom. October I was done. I couldn't take it. Like I was calling this girl every day, all times of the day, all times of the night, because she had been through this, and I knew she was my best friend. I'm like, I got the
right.
I didn't want to talk to my mom about it because I'm like, this boy is. I can't tell her all the stuff this man has done,
and then you feel ashamed because you know that if someone knew the full story, they would be disappointed in you,
and exactly, and that
hurt. And that's something I actually had to pray to God for too, because my shame was keeping me in a place where I couldn't heal. I was just stuck.
Right, and that's how I felt. Like I felt like, Lord, I've never let nobody treat me like this before, and I don't even want to tell people what happened because it's like everybody know I'm a strong woman. I'm a strong woman in faith. And all of that. Like even you, Anna, you was like, actually, but what you did not let was your faith drop. I said
that is true.
And I said I did not let my faith drop, Anna, but I did. My relationship with God took a back seat.
Because he monopolized
Of course. And so it took me a minute to get back to where I am now with God, because I just kept telling God, I'm so sorry. Like, and I was like, I knew he had broken some things in me, which I'm still trying to get rid of to this day, So it was tough. So faith
is what got you through it,
for sure.
Period. Because that's the one thing he couldn't break, and there was one thing that you knew for sure he wasn't gonna be able to taint.
No,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
All he did was
he tried.
He got your mind or your practice. You're practicing your faith. He minimized it.
Yeah.
And he tried to tell you there was other ways of thinking,
other
gods, other things to worship, which we all know that's not how things go.
Right. He tried. He tried his dangest. So.
But that's why I was like also want to make sure that I didn't abandon you, or I didn't, because I was there. And I have a good support system when I finally let them in.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I didn't want you to get to the point where you were at my extreme and then looking for help or looking for some kind of
I'm glad you said that. Let me make this last point, guys, because I know we got to get ready to end this, but I'm glad you brought that up, because it was to the point where, because me and his mom had got like this, and I was like telling his mom, I said, I'm going to be honest with you. I said, if he put his hands on me, I'm going to blow his brains out.
Right.
I was
early in the clutch.
I was to that point because you already threw water in my face twice, so that means you really wanted to hit me. But you did it with the water instead. Right. And you would run up in my face. Like, he would run up in my face like, I think he did that like a couple times. It wasn't many times. But I knew he wanted to hit me, really. He really did. And I told his mom, I said, you're gonna be planning his funeral. I said, you put his hands on him.
Right.
I said, because I talked to him, and she tried to talk to him too, but to this day, me and her, we are still really, really cool, me and his mom. But
I'm great friends with my ex's family. Yeah. They love me.
Yeah,
but they disowned him.
But when I talk to her, I tell her, do not. I don't care about what he has going on.
Correct.
Don't talk to me about him. If me and you want to continue a relationship, that's what we're gonna do. I said, but as far as him, I don't want to hear anything about him because I really do not care.
And that's the good Christian in you, because to be honest,
I should have broken it off.
Everybody needed a cut off, because let's be clear, the reason why he's like that, something with the moms or the dad is something, But also, I'm trying to be lighthearted because it is so heavy.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
In that time, you just feel so lost and confused.
For sure.
Which way should I go?
Which way should I go? So we just want to encourage you guys, this evening, just to, just if you run into a situation like that where you are seeing these traits or these signs from a narcissist, please avoid the heartache and go the other way. It'll save you so many tears, so much pain. It will save you for sure. Do you want to offer any last encouraging words, Anna?
Yes, from your favorite Dominicana. Being that this is a faith-driven podcast or conversation,
both.
Everybody inherently has this, but us women specifically, our intuition is our compass.
For sure.
Our spiritual compass. in both of our situations, something internally told us that this is not right.
Mm-hmm.
And until we, had the strength through prayer, through just listening to finally listening, right,
Mm-hmm.
to God and what He wants us to do, you have to understand that it's in us already.
Right.
It's already happened. You just have to go through it.
Right.
So maybe that's a little encouraging for you guys, just knowing that your intuition really is there to protect you.
Yeah.
If it wasn't working, you wouldn't feel it. You wouldn't feel it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So just know that is God's tool to you.
Right.
Use it and use it wisely.
Yeah, for sure. And also don't forget about if you are currently experiencing this and going through this now, it's okay to seek help, whether that's with a mental health therapist, also called behavioral health, get you a psychiatrist if you need to be on medication, or a therapist just to talk with. It's okay. Or you can also go see the pastor, get some therapy that way as well, get some counseling, and just don't stay in that type of situation. So I definitely want to thank you for coming on my episode, Anna.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. This was amazing.
Thank you for being open and being honest and vulnerable enough to tell your story, because it's tough. So I want to thank you guys as well for listening to another episode of Love, Sex, and Reality. I love you guys, and please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on the YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.